Hi everybody, my name is Horse, singer-songwriter based in Glasgow, which is beautifully sunlit at the moment, which obviously makes life a lot more pleasant than being trapped indoors with cold weather. I'm a singer-songwriter, as I said, and have been singing and writing songs for a long time now, and it gives me great pleasure and great joy to be able to sing. I have 9 albums. I'm working on my 10th album at the moment. I've done many projects. I take either a band out or several musicians in trio, quartet, strings, acoustic instruments, electrical instruments, piano, voice. I've done all of that stuff. But I think what happens is, no matter what format you put anything in, whatever genre it is, the most important thing is the actual core song. And I feel very blessed to have been part of a writing partnership formerly, and latterly writing mostly on my own. And it's a great osmosis of emotions and experiences all tumbling out and into song. And I think the best songs are the ones that aren't laboured over. They're natural, they come from the heart. So I hope, and I hope that the songs that I've been part of writing and performing have those essences attached to them. So you can imagine with all those albums, maybe some people have done tons of albums, but for me that's a lot of albums. Every one is like a mountain to climb to get to the point of putting the thing out. And it's a chemistry between musicians and the people you work with to create it. And also, as I said, the osmosis of time going past and how that affects what you end up creating. I suppose I was trying to think of an analogy, but maybe like baking a cake. It's not even necessarily the ingredients, it's the air you put into it, the love you pour into it. That sounds a bit wholemeal sweater, but I can't distill it any further than that. It's just how things are for me as a writer. Now, as you can hear, I'm blabbing quite a bit. I chat quite a lot, and some of that's nerves, but also I just quite like a wee chat. And I've done a few of those on my own pages, and I started off thinking I'll do, a little bit of chat and a couple of songs. And the first time I did a chat, I was on for an hour. Second time was an hour and 20 minutes, and the second time was an hour and a half. And there's been a little break, so I might go back to that again. But people seem to enjoy the chat. The difficulty is having all of that amount of people in the one room, as in the Zoom or whatever, at a time. Otherwise, it'd be great for everybody to be chatting. So, without further ado, if I was forced to choose one song that encapsulates all of those different things that I was talking about a short time ago, Careful. And I think the best songs that you ever write, you create them, and the minute you've breathed them out, they take on a new life, and they're not yours anymore. They belong to the people that are listening to them. And Careful is one of those songs. It was recorded, gosh, what studio we're in? It's gone out of my head. It was a few years ago now, and it was voice and 12 strings. And it was a wonderful experience, and I think there's something magical in the recording. It's called Careful. Sunshine on your upturned face, everything falls into place. Blue sky above, sand underfoot, the happiest I've seen you look. The sunrise stirs below landscape, more beauty than your breath can take. Boats out to sea, 'cause in the air I might look as if I didn't care. Careful with me, careful with my heart. World keeps turning, my world love should suffer suddenly, it won't be because I'm not myself. I don't forget, I depend upon the simple fact you turn my heart over, 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 over. Careful with me, careful with my heart. World keeps turning, my world falls apart. When you're out of reach from it, when you're out of reach from it. Careful with me, careful with my heart. World keeps turning, my world falls apart. When you're out of reach from it, when you're out of reach from it. Careful with me, careful with my heart. World keeps turning, my world falls apart. When you're out of reach from it, when you're out of reach. Whoa. Careful with me, careful with me. Sunshine on your upturned face, everything falls into place. A blue sky above, and everything falls into place. I love your upturned face. Sunshine on your upturned face. That was careful. I think all sorts of things when I'm singing songs. Memories, feelings, different notes just up ahead. If I was to give any tips to singers or performers, I've been singing for a long time and I still have a very evil pixie on my shoulder saying you're rubbish. And so I'm fighting against this all the time. But the thing that I've learned through being focused when I'm singing on a stage is the sound of the voice, how it's feeling, where it's going. But someone said to me once, I came off stage and went, that was fantastic. Did you enjoy that? And I was like, I actually had no idea whether I enjoyed it or not because I was so focused on getting it right, doing a good job. But now it's a lovely balance between having a great time singing, talking to people, dancing a little bit, and having really good fun. So if I had to give any tips to any performers, you know, enjoy it while it's happening because, dear God, you never know when it's all going to end, do you? I'm just going to get some water. I also think, you know, the thing that I've learned over the years is, do you know, I've never really quite known what pigeonhole to put me in. And other people have tried to put me in different pigeonholes and it's done my head in because I don't actually fit in a lot of boxes. I suppose I was a lesbian before I even knew I was a lesbian. I've never been in. And looking how I do, I think I was fairly obviously that way. Well, certainly as I grew up in my hometown, I think everyone else knew straight away. I just didn't know who I was or what I was. And I think life is about learning to be yourself, whatever that is. So again, another life lesson for you folks is never be afraid to be you. And I've spent my lifetime trying to find out who I am. And you know, parts of me I know well, and I'm still getting acquainted with myself. So if I was to give you any lessons or whatever you look like, whoever or whatever you are, just be a good one. Be kind, be a nice person, be a good person. I'm going to leave you, I'm breathless, my asthma's quite bad at the moment, so I'm struggling. So our first single, 1989, was a track called You Could Be Forgiven. I remember where I was when I began to, because I'm Elton John really, I write the melody. And I remember exactly where I was when I wrote this melody for this anyhow. I used to do melody and I would hand over to Angela, who would then do lyrics. There's a lot of sounds and rhythms and meters in what I was singing. So she was kind of tied up a little bit with what she had to work with, but anyhow. And we ended up with You Could Be Forgiven. But I remember I'm a huge fan of LaBelle. I've always loved LaBelle. Nona Hendryx, Patti LaBelle and Sarah Dash. Huge fans. Anyhow, I wanted to write something like Lady Marmalade. And this is nothing like it. But in my head, I was trying to do something like that. Now, before I sing this, just to tell you that, firstly, it's normally done with a whole band, and there's brass and all sorts of stuff going on. Lots of backing vocals, but it's just me. So I'll do my best to do a good version, or the best I can do. Well, like I said to you, I'll do the best I can do. Beneath the lights, the sleaze, the mayhem, handsome ads and cool seduction, everything's impossible and everything's so easy. Vision of inventiveness between the carrot and the stick that fix you with our beastly eyes and smile. Into anchor tattooed on side, I dreamers bound for elsewhere. Lovers feel like that anytime slide. Oh, breathe and shout, believe your tears will end. You've got to breathe in slow. You've got to breathe this love. Please, and if they don't. And if they never let you go, and if they darken your sweet soul, and if they never let you go, and your love is strong enough, is like a face as sweet and wild as all of these things. You could be forgiven, you could be forgiven. You could be forgiven, you asthma's going, yeah. The funny thing is when you're doing a song and you have to play for yourself at the same time, it's so infuriating because you want to concentrate and you're singing, then you're going, oh my God, what chord do I go to next? So forgive me a bit of faff in the middle of that. Anyway, a lot of chatting here. My name is Horse McDonald. You'll find me at horsemcdonald.com, or I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that stuff. We have a tour ready for November, a full UK tour. I think we are going to put it out in the end of the month. So watch out for that. We really would appreciate the support. You know, like a lot of people in the country, everything has vanished, and we don't know when it's coming back. Anyhow, thank you so much for listening. I'm a bit of a gas bag, and like everybody, my hair is an absolute riot. Lots of love to you out there, and do take care of yourselves.